Updates from Google at Google I/O, Vercel's new language ZeroLang, TeamPCP GitHub attack, and much more on XYZ Weekly Review. 2026 is truly the year of the AI agent. Google AI concluded basically last week, and the most talked about topic was AI. It appeared in basically every second sentence for 1 hour 45 minutes of the 2-hour conference. Some of the new and exciting launches from Google are such. Number 1 is Gemini Spark, which is a 24/7 agent that runs your life and manages it with the help of all the Google integrations you can think of. I think this is a Google alternative to things like OpenClaw and Hermes agent, because OpenClaw is basically OpenAI now. So Google's like, why don't we have that? Now they do. Then we had some model launches from Google, such as Gemini Omni, which is a multi-model model which intakes almost any kind of data, including text, speech, image, video, and spits out any kind of data too. And then after Gemini Omni, we have Gemini 3.5 Flash, which is a faster, better, smarter alternative to the previous Google models. Another update from Google is the search remake. What they're gonna do is make it more AI-ful. They're gonna add more AI overviews. They're gonna add more interactive elements for you to see everything visually. Stuff like AI image generation, AI video generation are going to be added too. So if you want to learn about butterfly, you don't have to go search for 30 seconds for a video of a butterfly, but you can have AI generated for you. I think that this is a bit catastrophic. For me personally, I'm changing to Brave. And also, Google announced their partnership with Samsung to create smart glasses which are going to be launched this fall. It looks like they're going to be more audio-centric rather than video-centric, unlike Ray-Ban, but they do seem to work quite well from the reviews I've read. Vercel creates their own agentic language called ZeroLang. It is supposed to be more diagnosable than things like JavaScript, where you don't understand where the error went, more predictable, and rather easier for agents to use than other languages. Now, I see a couple problems with this idea. Number one, you don't have enough data to train AI models on. You don't have ZeroLang being developed for years, and you have a lot of examples which you can feed into the algorithm to make it better and actually learn the language. You either synthesize data with AI models, which are bound to make mistakes because they didn't have any examples before, or you have humans write out the examples, which takes years. Hurdle number 2 is it's probably wipe-coded and has a lot of security vulnerabilities, making it unreliable for production workloads. They actually say exactly that on their website from ZeroLang.ai. Safe environments only. Security vulnerabilities should be expected. Run and develop ZeroLang in isolated environments, not production systems or sensitive infrastructure. I think that says it all. I do not know, but I am very skeptic of whether this project will work out. Probably Vercel could push it simply on their authority, as they're a pretty big company. But will it work? Who knows? We'll see. GitHub, poor GitHub, has been hacked by TeamPCP. It was a supply chain attack using one of VS Code's extensions. Using the malicious plugin to gain access to an employee's machine, they soon had access to the internal network. After that, they successfully leaked over 4,000 GitHub internal repositories. What you need to know, GitHub is simply having a very bad 90 days. Their uptime is about 86%, and the amount of incidents for the last 90 days is 81. I think that this is the result of moving GitHub under AI inside of Microsoft. I do not know why you would do that, but it did happen, and here is the result. I do not know what to say. GitHub has been a very good platform since its launch in 2008, but it seems to have gone downhill. For example, the creator of GhostTTY, which I use regularly, recently commented in his blog post that he's moving the project to somewhere else, because GitHub has been absolutely ruining his workflow, with something not working every single day he worked. But now back to the hack. The hackers got access to about 4,000 different internal GitHub repositories, and GitHub acknowledged the hack, saying that everything was legit. The hackers proposed the highest bidder all the information and burning it on their side, or they would simply release it for free for everyone. It has been quite funny, actually. Some people in the community say, can the hackers go and fix GitHub while they're around the job, Because truly, GitHub is becoming worse. But one of the crazy things around here is that GitHub was trying to ascertain that none of the customers were hacked, which is partially true, but most likely your internal repositories contain env keys and passwords to your databases, which probably allows you to get access to user information. Discord implements end-to-end encryption for voice and video calls. Now, I think that this is a little bit of an atonement that Discord is trying to make for adding age verification. Many people, including myself, don't like age verification for multiple reasons. Number one, it's reading the symptom, not the problem. If you had a dirty neighborhood with bandits running around, you wouldn't just age verify everyone who's going into that town to protect them. No, you'd go and get rid of the bandits. Discord is doing basically that. They have a dirty neighborhood with bandits running around in there, and they are trying to make it more secure by simply not letting people into the neighborhood, but it's not going to make it more secure. Reason number two is that your data gets sent around different servers over which you have no access. Age verification works like this. You send the data, the biometrics, the passport photo to Discord. They store on their servers. Then they send it to a third-party vendor, such as Persona. They store it on their servers. And Persona finally sends it to the government, which verifies your data, of course, running over 300 different checks on you to check whether you're a terrorist or have political siblings. And then it sends it back to Persona, and Persona sends it back to Discord. And then somebody hacks the third-party vendor, and Persona leaks all your data to the internet. But enough of me ranting. The feature remains such. Discord implemented end-to-end encryption for voice and video calls. We may soon be rid of deepfakes. Now, I'm not saying that AI image generation is going to stop, but a new proposed method of solving them is Synth ID, which is basically an invisible watermark on each AI-generated image, which can then be used to check whether an image is AI generated. Google has already implemented this with Gemini image generation, and OpenAI has been doing the same with ChatGPT. At Google I/O, Google announced that Search and Chrome will now have capabilities to check images for such metadata. This might help for a while, but then somebody's gonna write some code which is going to remove the watermark from the image, and who's gonna stop them? Spotify creates their own notebook LM. You can now create a personalized Spotify podcast using sources like email, calendar, documents, and notes, which Spotify is going to convert for you into one listenable, enjoyable experience. But it is somewhat funny that Spotify, who fights against AI-generated songs on its platform, is creating its own AI generation platform. But stuff like Notebook LM is truly an amazing tool which can allow you to create podcasts in seconds, gathering data from different sources, which would take people much more time. If you don't like Google AI taking over search, I would recommend you to Vivaldi. Version 8.0 updates the UI tremendously, making it more minimalistic, pretty, and etc. I haven't downloaded it, it's amazing. You can change it to whatever search engine you like. I personally put it as Brave. And if you ever thought about moving from Chrome and Google, then the change has never been easier.